I am finally gonna be reading the Dreamland Billionaires series by Lauren Asher. This is a very well-loved series. Everyone is obsessed with it. It's one of the OG BookTok series that just went viral, honestly. I have actually read the first book, which is The Fine Print, and I didn't like it. I read it a couple of years ago when I first started getting back into reading. It wasn't my favorite, I didn't love it, but I am hoping reading it the second time it's gonna be different. I'm very curious about terms and conditions. I think that is gonna be my favorite. This series is about three brothers and their grandpa passes away and leaves each one of them a letter, and in that letter he says that in order for you to get your inheritance you need to do this one thing. For every brother is different, and we basically follow the brothers as they do that. Every single book is about one brother. So the first book is about Rowan, the second book is about Declan, and the third book is about Carl. I have been wanting to give a second chance to this series for so long, but I have been kind of intimidated to just get back into it, because what if I don't like it the second time around? So I'm very excited about this video. I am on chapter 20, so 35% through the book, and so far I would say that it's kind of, I don't want to say boring, but it's kind of boring. There are some scenes where I'm like, oh, this is cute, this is really good, but for the majority of the book I feel like there's something missing, because I wouldn't say that the writing is bad. The writing is actually really good. That I wouldn't say that the characters have anything wrong with them. They are usually characters that I like to read about, and the plot seems like something that I would usually love. But for some reason, it's just something about it is not doing it for me. I don't feel that attached to the characters, and I feel like I'm just reading for the sake of reading it, because I do want to finish this book so I could go to the next one, because I think that I'm gonna enjoy that a lot more. But it's just this one, I don't know, it's not hitting. I also saw that it's like 400 and something pages, and I'm like, what? Why? But yeah, those are my first thoughts. I'm gonna try and read more. It's just not keeping my attention. I truly have to try in order to just not put it down. So yeah, that is not ideal, but I'm hoping that it's gonna get better. Although I feel like if it's not that great, at like 35%, it's not gonna get that much better. Fingers crossed. I am on chapter 40, like 30, no, what? I am on chapter 40, 77% through the book, and I am enjoying it. I figured out what my issue is, because I still believe that the writing is really good and I like the plot and everything, but first things first, I think that it's extremely long, like unnecessarily long. I think that it could have been just less pages, honestly, maybe 400 pages and not just 450 pages. But that's my first issue, and the second issue is that I don't feel their attraction. I feel like it's more so just sexual attraction and not so much as emotional attraction. I love when you see in a book like the attraction, and I feel like you didn't really see it. There were like some little scenes where you're like, oh, you know, there's some tension here, but I don't know how we went from them not liking each other to them being like in love with each other. That's kind of where it missed the mark for me. That's probably the biggest issue for me, because I feel like even still was like 450 pages, but I felt their attraction and like, I don't know, some tension, I guess, a bit more tension and more, I don't know, realistic tension, because she tried really hard to write tension, but it's not as effortless, so it doesn't feel real, kind of. I don't know if that makes any sense. But yeah, that's my issue right now. I am supposed to think that they are in love, but I don't see that. I do not see that. I don't see him being in love. I feel like he's unnecessarily, well, not right now, but in the beginning I feel like he was unnecessarily grumpy, but kind of not even grumpy. He was rude. That's like my issue. I like a grumpy main character, but I don't know, when they're rude, that's like not for me. I don't want them to be rude. I feel like he was very rude in the beginning, so I'm just kind of, I'm not attached to him. I like Zara, she's fun, and just, I like her as a character, but I feel like he has not, I'm gonna try and finish it tonight, but it's already like, I don't know, 1 o'clock at night. So yeah, it's already late. I'll probably update you tomorrow though. I finished The Fine Print and I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I wasn't sure about it in the beginning. I was like, oh, it's gonna be like around the 3 stars area, I guess. And then up until like the last update, I was like, oh, it's gonna be a 3.5. But then the last, I don't know, like 20% of the book made it a 4-star read. I had so much fun. It was so entertaining. I cried, which I did not see that coming. I got emotional. I did not expect that, but I truly got emotional. I cried 2 times, 3 times, something like that. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I do think that it's like a good book, and I know that a lot of people love it, and I get why. So yeah, now I'm gonna move on to terms and conditions, and I'm actually very excited because I think that's gonna be my favorite book. I truly believe that I'm really gonna enjoy it. Fingers crossed, at least. I am 57% through the book on chapter 26, and I am having the same issues as the previous book. The beginning was going great. I love fake marriage, fake dating, marriage of convenience trope. Like, that's one of my favorite tropes ever. So I was very excited about this book, and I did like Declan more than I like Rowan. So I was like, okay, I am having hopes. I will say I do prefer this book, Terms and Conditions, over the fine print, because I feel like the characters have more banter, which is something that I love to see in a book. But I feel like something is missing with a connection. It's not, I feel like it's more so we're getting told that, oh, I am attracted to her, I am attracted to him, and not so much saying it, which is one of my pet peeves. I hate when you're getting told like, oh, I'm feeling like this, and you're not seeing it, you know? So yeah, I'm having an issue with that, because I feel like now we are at the point where they are starting to have feelings for each other, but I don't feel the connection. I don't care that much about them being together. I guess that's like the main issue that I'm having. I'm hoping that that's gonna get better, because I am 57% through the book, and with the previous book the last 25% was so good, so I'm hoping that something similar is gonna happen with this one. I finished Terms and Conditions. I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I didn't love it that much. It definitely got better at the end, which I feel like we're getting into a pattern here. I don't like the first 70% through the book, and then the last 30% of the book is just really good. So yeah, for that reason, I think I'm just gonna give it a 4 stars. But in other news, once I finished Terms and Conditions, I was like, the final offer, which is the third and final book, is really big. So let me just read a couple of pages. I am 23% through the book, chapter 14. I am loving it. I am loving it so much. Is it 4 o'clock in the morning? Yes. Have I stayed up just reading it without even realizing it? Yes. 100% yes. Have I already cried? Yeah, twice. Do I love it? Yes. Have I laughed? Yes. I'm just like, it's so good. I don't know. It's so good, and I cannot wait to see how it will go. I feel like it's gonna be my favorite, and I didn't expect that, because I know that a lot of people say that this is kind of like the heaviest out of all of them, because obviously Cal, which is the main guy character, struggles with addiction, and that makes sense, you know, for it to be a really heavy book. So like, oh my god, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it. I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but I love the way that it's written. It feels, the two characters feel way different than the other characters. The writing, even though it's like the same, I feel like the chemistry between the two characters is so much different than the chemistry in the first 2 books. The other 2 books, just the chemistry was not there with the characters, in my opinion. Obviously, I feel like it was lacking a lot, so I thought that, oh, she's like, Lauren Asher cannot do chemistry that well. I was like, okay, it's not like the easiest thing to do, so I was like, okay with it. But this book is making me believe that she can do chemistry. This is like a second chance romance. I'm loving it. I'm having so much fun. I literally don't want to go to sleep, and I want to keep reading it, but I know that I should probably go to sleep, so I'm just, stopping myself. But you love a book when you're literally thinking, I cannot wait to go to sleep so that I can wake up tomorrow and pick this one up. I am on page 466, chapter 47, 80% through the book. So I have like 20% left, and it's going downhill. It has been going downhill for the last couple of pages. Not a couple of pages. It has been going downhill for the last couple of chapters, and I'm sad. I was really loving it. I was genuinely really enjoying it. I was like, oh, it's gonna be like a 4.5 stars, but now I'm just like, it's not about the plot. The plot is still good. It's just it feels like it's dragging out so much. I truly believe that there is no reason for this book to be almost 600 pages. Like, no, it could have been 500. I get it, you want like a longer book, right? Make it 500. Not enough things are happening to make this book a 600-page book. And it's not even like that the scenes are boring. They're not boring. They are cute and fun, I guess, but after a certain point I was like, okay, I want something to happen. I want like something more interesting to happen, because like, yeah, okay, they're happy, sure, but like, where is the interesting part? So yeah, that's my issue, because I'm literally just putting the book down because I'm like, I don't really want to keep reading. I'm just bored, you know. I'm just like, I'm losing my interest. That's what's happening, because nothing is happening. I think that now we're finally at a point where stuff are gonna start happening. I am like 80% through the book. Something has to happen, right? Like, I'm hoping that it's gonna pick up, because otherwise I'm just like, it's going downhill very fast. I did in fact just film the intro for this video, so that's why everything is pretty much the same. I finished the series and I'm actually glad that I gave it a second chance. My opinion for the first book hasn't changed drastically, but I do think that I liked it this time around better than I did the first time. So I ended up giving the fine print 3.75, which is the same rating as Terms and Conditions. And then the final offer, which honestly, I thought that it would be the book that I liked the least. I ended up giving it a 4.5 stars. I really loved the characters. The writing in that book was so good, and I really liked just the personalities. And what made that book different for me from the first two books is that with the first two books, I feel like we were told that the characters are out of the sudden in love with each other, you know? So in the beginning, they were attracted to each other, and then in a couple of pages, honestly, they end up being in love. And that was not my favorite thing. I didn't love that. I prefer it when we actually feel it without needing the author to say, oh, they are in love with each other. But with the third book, I didn't feel like that. I don't know what happened there. I could literally feel the characters just being in love with each other, and all of the experiences and how they have grown up, obviously, because it's a second chance romance, but they still have that love for each other and like that. I don't know how to explain it. It was so good. I really liked it. The only reason why it's not a 5-star is because I do think that it dragged on a tiny bit. I feel like it could have been a bit shorter. And also something else that I didn't like was the fact that throughout the whole book we really just see Cal's addiction, and we see how he struggles with it and what triggers him and just how it affects his relationship with other people and stuff. You would expect that when Cal actually got over that addiction, we would see more of it. When the time came for Cal to just get over his addiction and he was like, yes, I'm ready to do this, it was like one chapter he was like, yes, I'm gonna do this, and the next chapter was literally like, oh yeah, okay, I did that, so now I'm good, I'm a lot better, and I'm ready to live my life. And I wish that we could have seen more of him getting over his addiction and his triggers and all of that, you know, like kind of like the process of it. I wish that we could have seen like at least a chapter. It just kind of felt disappointing. But overall, I really like the series, and I really like the universe. I like the brothers. I did enjoy the writing, so I do think that I'm gonna read more Lauren Asher books, because maybe it's just the characters weren't for me, and maybe I'm gonna like other characters more. Let me know which is your favorite book by Lauren Asher. I'm really curious. I know that a lot of people love Redesigned, and that's a book that I really want to read. I'm very curious about it, and I do think that I'm gonna love it. At least I'm hoping that I'm gonna love it. But yeah, that's all I had to say. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to. I hope that I'll see you in my next video. Bye!